Hey YouTube, welcome back. Today I'm going to walk you through how to drop stomach fat in under 5 minutes. I'm going to talk you through the most important things you need to focus on to drop stomach fat and make the whole process a lot more straightforward. If you do enjoy the video, please drop a like. If you have any questions throughout, throw them down in the comments. If you haven't already, please do subscribe. Let's go. Okay, number one, and the most important thing, you can't spot reduce body fat. Okay, so even though we're talking about how to drop stomach fat, you can't actually spot reduce body fat. So, any area that you want to get leaner requires you to just do the essential things which we're going to talk about now to actually get leaner. And if there's one area that seems to be taking a little bit longer, all it essentially is going to take is for you to stay consistent to then eventually get lean enough that that part is becoming to a level of leanness that you're happy. Number two, be in a calorie deficit consistently over time. Okay, so a calorie deficit is taking in less food or energy than you are expending. Okay, when you're taking in less energy than you're expending, than you're burning, you will lose body fat over time. Okay, however, to get a certain area, again, to be lean enough is just going to take time. Especially the stomach tends to be an area which holds on, let's say, till towards the end, or the longest. So therefore, it's going to take a decent amount of time being in a calorie deficit for that area to potentially get lean enough where you're happy with. Okay. So not only do you need to make sure you're in a calorie deficit, but you need to make sure you're then doing things to ensure that you can stay in that calorie deficit consistently over time. Okay, so that might look like making sure stuff like hunger management is on point. Okay, so that might be making sure the sort of protein intake, veg intake is high enough. That might look like making sure the methods that you're using are realistic. Okay, and not too restrictive. Okay, so you're not restricting food too much. You're enjoying the diet that you're having. You're not restricting calories too much. You're enjoying the training that you're doing, so therefore you can stay consistent with it. There's a lot of different factors that we can take into consideration, but you just need to make sure that you're in a calorie deficit and you can sustain that over time. For most people, when they look at wanting to get a particular area lean, they're looking for that area to then be defined or look a certain way, and often in relation to how much muscle mass they have there, right? So they want it to look defined and particularly muscular on some level. That is going to require you to have a certain level of muscle mass and to also retain muscle mass as well as you can while you're dropping body fat and in a deficit. Two of the biggest things that are going to contribute to retaining muscle mass throughout your deficit or dieting is protein intake, so making sure your protein intake is adequate. If you're having anywhere from 0.8 to 1.2 grams per pound of body weight a day, you're going to be fine. And then making sure you've got some level of resistance training within the training that you're doing. And then lastly, sleep. Sleep plays a huge part in fat loss. It's actually been shown that people who don't get as much sleep or as good a quality sleep, under like 6 hours I think it was, shown that the weight that they do lose can then come from muscle mass in relation or in comparison to actually body fat. Okay, so getting good quality sleep is going to ensure that the weight you are losing is actually coming from body fat and you're retaining the muscle mass that you do have. Right, so sleep plays a big part in that. It also plays a big part in stuff like food choices, energy levels, which is then going to relate to training and energy expenditure. So sleep really does play a big role and branches off to a lot of other factors within our fat loss goal. Alright, so you need to make sure your sleep is taken care of and you're getting good quality sleep on a consistent basis. So there you have it, 4 big tips to ensure that you're going to get lean enough where you're going to notice visual differences around your stomach area. If you did enjoy the video, please drop a like. If you have any questions, throw them down below. If you haven't already, please do subscribe. I'll catch you on the next one.